Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Truth, lies, shenanigans. 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 Tune in to TLS. Yeah, tune in to TLS. It's the TLS show.
Coming to you live.
Welcome to Truth, Lies, Shenanigans podcast, social commentary, hot topics, amazing guests with a ton of fun and shenanigans along the way. This is our first show back from our extended mid-season break, and it's going to be a wild ride. We've got Matt Cousineau, the genius behind a thrilling board game, Kuiperium. And this game was fully funded on Kickstarter in 90 minutes. He'll be joining us to chat about his inspirational game and this incredible game. So, in hot topics, Philly grad has some problems with her Griddy dance, cost her a diploma. We're also talking about the wildfires in Canada, and archaeologists uncover an ancient 6-inch stone penis. Needless to say, this show's really packing today. I'm sure you see where we're going with that story. All right. First off, I want to welcome you to our new day and time to record this podcast live, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. A reminder, you can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch TV, and TruthLiesShenanigans.com. But we will be checking your comments on YouTube and Facebook at TLSLiveShow or TLSShow.com. So those are the best places to watch if you want to be part of our conversation. Also, I need to let you know our official audio podcast will now be available Fridays instead of Tuesdays on Apple Podcasts, Pods Network, PODZ, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. All right, let me introduce you to my beautiful co-hosts. First up, the gamer, nature lover, rock star, coming to you from Ontario, Canada, Robbie Rock.
What's up, my friends? Happy hump day.
Happy hump day.
It is,
I know, right?
right? It is hump day.
Can't say Sunday fun day anymore.
I know. It's like, what other cliche can I just jump onto? But it is great to be back with you, my friends, and it's great to be back with the live audience. Everyone looks happy, refreshed. I'm happy to see that. And for myself, I know I've been taking some time to focus on my health during our hiatus. I've been eating better. I've been doing a lot more exercise.
Nice.
Yeah. But the highlight of my hiatus is discovering a love of kayaking. We had purchased some a few years ago, and we finally got them out on the water this year. And we love getting out on the early morning waters and hearing the loons and stuff.
Kayaking is so much fun.
Beautiful.
I know. It sounds fun.
Like
it's peaceful.
I've taken
really
my dogs out kayaking with me. That was a lot of fun. Just taking the dogs on the kayak. Yeah, it was
so
pretty
different.
awesome. Yeah, I know, right?
That
That
was
was
cute.
They stayed put.
Did they stay put? No, because I have one dog who has ADHD and he just jumped right into the water. It's like, and I'm trying to grab him because I didn't want him to, I was the first time, so I didn't want him to like fall in and die. So I was like,
yeah.
But it was
Nice,
fun.
Rob.
It was fun. So yeah, kayaking's fun. That's great, Rob.
Yeah, I gotta try it.
Really, the boat launch is literally a 1-minute drive from our place, so
Oh.
it's just perfect.
Oh.
You've got to do it. You've got to do
Easy.
it. Then. You should have been doing.
We had competing priorities.
Fair
Now we can do it and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you had all the snow. I know. so, get it. All right. Next up, we have our college student model business owner streaming from Atlanta, Georgia, Gianni Storm.
Hey guys, I missed you so much. It's been a really good vacation though. My best friend actually of like 14 years, she's visiting me in Atlanta. She's staying with me for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
And I know. Now I have an actual social life. because since she's been here, it's just been super like outgoing and spontaneous. And it's just nice to have her around and be close with her and speak with her. So it's just good. I'm excited. I know she can hear me right now. So she's like
She's like in the room. You should have her
No,
come in.
she's
I was gonna say you're gonna have her come in and wave.
I wish she works from home. So she's busy, but yeah, I'm excited. I've had a really good vacation so far.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed your
Nice.
time off. All right. And I am your host, Neo Nix. All right, so we've been off for a few weeks now, and I got some good rest. But I have the dumbest ass question that's been on my mind the whole time. So I found out that the QWERTY keyboard, right, the standard keyboard that's on all these devices, was specifically designed to slow people down.
Yes, 100%, because the mechanical typewriters could not keep up with the typing speeds at the time because it was just a manual release and it was a bounce. It was a hammer
So
strike.
confused.
Right, and so they would jam and all that
was
stuff.
designed 100% designed to slow you down.
So, and this was in the 1800s, right? And so I'm like, all right,
Why?
why are we still using this nonsense from the freaking 1800s when there's far
Well,
more
you could-
efficient keyboard designs?
I was going to say, you could get a Dvorak keyboard. They've been around forever, as long as computers have been around.
And there's a Comac keyboard. So, okay, so the question I had for you guys is, and the one you suggested makes it a lot faster. So, and reduces strain on your hands. So carpal tunnel, all that stuff. So should we
Nice.
switch? Or is everyone just so used to, QWERTY keyboard? I mean, at this point in your life, are you willing to switch? I'm just curious.
Who's typing
I
that
would-
much?
Oh
No,
my God,
we actually-
everyone. I love
Yeah, you're right,
professionals.
actually. You're right. I forgot.
I mean, I'm
Yeah, a
typing
lot of
all
people
day,
actually
every day. I mean,
It's true.
That's my job.
Man, and we
Yeah.
can't even we can't even make up our minds as far as daylight savings time. So to get everyone using the same keyboard, that's not happening.
Oh,
But
impossible.
yeah, why not try something to see if you can be more efficient? And if it reduces strain on your hands and wrists.
I thought about
Yeah,
switching.
that's the important part.
After I found out, I thought about
Mhm.
buying one. I was going to buy one, but then I was like, it's going to take me so long. I type fast, relatively fast now with the QWERTY keyboard. It's going to take me forever to
Yeah.
learn the other one. So
It might
why you,
just be a little learning curve.
you don't think so, Ron?
I think that you're selling yourself short, because if the design is specifically, if it's designed specifically to enhance your productivity and make you more efficient, because it places keys, the most used keys, close to your fingertips. Like there's no more reaching for the E and the A. These are like right up and down. So I've never tried one, but I know that in theory they're supposed to be much better. So
I think I'm
dude,
too old
why
to
not?
learn. I think I'm too old.
Oh, jeepers.
Gianni
that's
should
an
be doing it.
excuse.
Gianni should be doing it though. She should switch.
I
Gianni.
mean, I think it's also like everything that's advancing, it makes sense to get a keyboard that would actually like be
Mhm.
more efficient. And then also, like you said, the whole carpal tunnel thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking about it, that makes sense. That
Sense.
might be a cool learning curve to
Sense to me.
figure out.
I'm sorry. I had this dumbass question just sitting on my mind for like weeks, so I apologize.
Mhm,
All right.
mhm.
Random.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with our show. First up, we're going to start out with our amazing guest. All right, today we're thrilled to have with us Matt Cousineau, a board game enthusiast from Sudbury, Ontario, who's turned his passion into a reality with the game Kuiperium. The game has sold over 400 copies on Kickstarter. 90 minutes, he was fully funded. So I can't wait to find out more about this game. Thank you so much for joining us, Matt. Appreciate having you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. It's exciting
Thanks,
to be on.
Matt.
All right, so Matt, we always start out with our first question. The first question is, tell us something that we can't find on Google about you.
Can't find on Google. Okay, you want the bad stuff or the fun stuff?
Should do both if you want.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess outside of board gaming, my next kind of big passion is probably, I'm gonna say, this typical stereotypical Canadian thing, but I'm a huge sports fan, and
Oh
even
yeah,
bigger
mhm.
hockey being my main sport. And
Of
Rob can
course.
Nice.
attest, it's a huge deal up here. And yeah,
Yeah.
I follow the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I bleed blue and white, and I'm just a huge fan of the game. And yeah, I guess
Nice.
that's probably it.
So Toronto,
You're,
so
you're one of those. You're one of those few classy Leafs
Fanatic.
fans. I got to give you that. I
yeah,
got to give you that.
Yeah.
One of the
Rob
good
B is a
ones.
Bruins fan, and we hear it all the time.
Yeah,
We
it's
do.
tough to be a Leafs fan, and the Bruins have had the best of us over the last decade. So yeah,
Oh,
hopefully one
shoot.
of these days I'll get to see the Leafs get the better of the Bruins.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So your
Nice.
game, Kuiperium, it's been a hit on Kickstarter, raising $300,000, and
Oh,
as
not
we
not not that much. But 30 grand.
did I say
30 grand
300?
Canadian.
I said 300.
One
30,000.
using zeros. Yeah,
Stretch.
Well, 300 sounded better. So
it does.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, so 30,000 and it pre-sold 400 copies. So that's incredible.
That's
So I really want to quickly, before we kind of get into the game, I want to share this trailer that we have of the game so that we can kind of get a sense of what the game is like.
Our sun is dying. Throughout human history, we've looked to the stars in awe. Infinite possibilities. Now desperate and cold, we look to the stars beyond our world for salvation.
Man, that's pretty awesome. I see. I see why it sold out so quick.
Smile on my face every time I see that trailer.
I bet.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
can you tell us more about the game and what players can expect, and with it set to hit stores this summer, what are your hopes for the game?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, this is our first ever game design. So my buddy and I, Steve Castle, um, actually met at a competitive card game tournament.
Hmm,
We met at the final table of a Star Wars Destiny collectible card game tournament. Um,
nice.
Side note, I beat
Nice.
him, but we ended up becoming good friends. We ended up becoming good friends, and he was working on his first game, and it kind of piqued my interest of like, okay, maybe designing games is something I would be interested in. If you're watching on the video, you could see behind me there's uh probably a couple hundred board games on
I
shelves,
see.
and it's
Yeah.
just a huge passion of mine. I just love board gaming, and exercising your brain that way, and solving puzzles, and competing, and all that stuff. It's just a lot of fun. And yeah, so I just decided to take my hand at designing games. And so Steve and I have been working on this game, or had been working on the game, I guess, for about 2 years before it hit Kickstarter.
Hmm.
And as I was saying, it's our first ever design. So the goal was just to make a game. It wasn't anything else other than like getting a game made, and having a modest uh, goal on Kickstarter, just so that we could get it out to a couple hundred people, whoever might be interested in it, and then who knows where it goes from there. And yeah, so we decided we'll make a little card game, and we started working at it. And at the beginning of the pandemic, I
Nice.
guess we had a little bit of extra time on our hands, not being able to do too much else,
Yeah.
and it like we just got obsessed with it. I guess it's one of those things. I'm sure we all have those passions where just something grabs you and you just get obsessed
Yeah.
with it, and you can't even sleep at night because you're thinking of like the ifs, ends, and
Right.
buts. When you're trying to fall asleep, and so yeah, it's something that just kind of took a life of its own, and grabbed us. And you fast forward, like, I want to say 6 weeks later, we had like we were probably about 80% of the way to designing the game as where it is now. So
Wow.
it got to a point where it was a complete game really, really fast.
Mm.
Even to our surprise, we're like, this is a fully playable, fun game. And of course, we had a lot of work to do in terms of like tweaking and balancing and making sure that everything worked properly. But
Sure.
we got there really fast, and then as we started to work a little bit on the graphic design and the art and that kind of stuff, as it started to come together, it felt like it deserved a little bit more than just like, oh, let's throw it on Kickstarter and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So we ended up partnering with Dragonette Games, and so Max over at Dragonette Games helped us kind of publish the game because we had no idea what we were doing, and he had a little bit of experience with Kickstarters. So yeah, we worked with him and spent a lot more money than we expected, but also made more money than we expected. I mean, you gotta spend a little bit of money to
Sweet.
You do.
make money.
There's no
So
question
yeah,
about that.
it like I said, it took a life of its own, and we were just really excited to see it run so quickly and find a fan base. And so now we've ordered 1,000 games to start. The
Nice.
manufacturing process is happening right now, and yeah, we're expecting it to land here in North America and all over the world actually in the next 2 months or so.
Nice. So before the summer's out.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Sweet.
your trailer
Thanks,
is
Matt.
very video game like. I mean, was that
Yes.
intentional? Are you a video gamer? I mean, was that intentional though? Because I know Robbie and I play
No,
video
not
games.
necessarily.
It looks like movie.
Um, Yeah, a good like props to or huge shout out to my friend Jason McKinnon,
Mhm.
who's one of my best friends from college, and he's a video editor, a professional video editor.
Oh,
And at
sweet.
some point, just in chatting with him and stuff, he said like, "Send me all your assets. I'm gonna make you something." And then
Nice.
like he sent me back like
Wow.
most of what you see in that video, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is amazing."
Wow.
It is pretty
Um,
amazing.
Yeah.
so
It is.
yeah, it was a huge, huge help. And like in the board gaming, in the hobby board gaming world, a lot of games go through Kickstarter. It's kind of a standard place for
Mhm.
people to go and get
Oh,
games made and buy games, right? And it's kind
okay.
of just become the standard where if you're putting a game on Kickstarter, you've got to have a kick-ass video.
Yeah.
And so it was like, we've got really lucky to be able to get something so professional and
Nice.
something that looks
Yeah.
so great. Yeah.
So let me ask you real
Yeah.
quick. So do you you're not just a board game enthusiast, but you're also an ambulance dispatcher, proud father of
That's
two
right. Yeah.
proud father of two boys. Quite
Mhm.
unique mix. So can you share how these different roles affect your life and how they might have influenced the creation of Kuiperium? Also, if you could kind of go into the gameplay, how the game is played.
Sure, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, life is busy for sure. I work shift work, nights and days, 12-hour shifts, dispatching ambulances. It can be an intense job at times. But the flip side of that is that, on night shifts, when it's not too busy in the wee hours of the morning, we do get a little bit of downtime. And so um a lot of this game was designed at work,
Mm.
just
Nice.
sitting on my laptop, or with the pen and paper and working away and plugging away at the design. But yeah,
Sweet.
life is definitely busy, and I'm lucky to have an amazingly supporting wife that has been able to take on a little bit
Yeah,
more
that's
here and there
very
so that I can
important.
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of yeah, so that I can pursue my dreams and passions. So I'm very, very lucky for that. Um,
Oh,
So
but
how do
yeah,
you play
so
the
in terms
game?
of the
Yeah.
game
yeah.
itself, basically, without going into too much detail, it's a two-player game. It's head-to-head,
Okay.
1v1. So
Okay.
Okay.
there is a very much a super competitive like mano a mano sit down, and the person who's gonna outwit the other will take away the victory. if any of you guys have ever played like a trading card game like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, any of those things, it
Yeah.
has a little bit of that vibe for that reason.
Okay.
It's all about
Okay.
clever card play and combos. So when you're playing cards, it's gonna like work well together with other cards you've already played, and trying to set up and pay off combinations and things like that. But the main,
Right.
again, without going too much into detail of the mechanics, but the main kind of hook of the game is that every single
Yeah.
card that I play actually creates an opportunity for my opponent to abuse and use that card against me. So every yeah, so if you're not
Oh,
familiar with board
wow.
games, there's kind of worker placement, which is like you have a certain amount of workers, and then you would
Mhm.
place that worker in a specific spot to get a specific, reward. Every card that you
Nice.
play has a worker placement location that only your opponent can use. So you
Mm.
really have to weigh the benefits of playing that card versus the opportunities you're giving your opponent. And that's the like tension of every single card you play is like, this is going to be great for me, but man, I'm giving I'm opening a window for my opponent to
Yeah.
like do something to
Mhm.
me. So that's kind of the crux and the the tension and the hook of the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that
really
sounds
cool.
exciting. It sounds fun.
So,
I wanted to
so Matt,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
go ahead, Johnny.
Go
All
ahead.
right, I just wanted to I'm excited. I wanted to backtrack a little bit and what actually sparked the idea or like the creation of Kuiperium?
Um, it started with the mechanism in the game. So a lot of times, and it's kind of a common question in game design, is like, do you start with theme or do you start with the mechanism?
Yeah.
And when you say
So an example of
mechanism,
a
what do you? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I was gonna say, like, for those of you who aren't like hobby board gamers, a mechanism or a mechanic, as they call it in the industry, is like, so for example, in Monopoly, um, the main mechanism is roll and move. You roll and then you move what you rolled.
Mm.
So that's a mechanism. Set collection is another example of a mechanism where you're trying to, in a lot of card games, you're trying to
Mhm.
collect,
Oh,
multiples
I
of a
see.
card. That's set collection. So there's like
Gotcha.
obviously hundreds of different types of mechanisms or mechanics, again, as
Mechanics.
we call it in the industry. So yeah, in the a lot of people ask, do you start with a mechanism or with a theme? And for me, I thought of the mechanism of like, I'm playing cards down. I don't know what the theme is yet. I don't know how any of this works, but I want to be able to play cards for benefits, but I want it to also have tension where my opponent can
Mm.
abuse and use my cards against me. So that's where it
Ah,
started. I pitched that idea to Steve, and
nice.
then we started just brainstorming and throwing ideas back and forth. And that's when the worker placement, which is another mechanism, a board game mechanism, kind of came into the picture. Yeah, so it started with that, and then we just brainstormed and worked at it, and yeah, and then the theming, I don't even remember, to be honest. I know I was at work and I was just trying to think of a cool theme. And I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. A lot of my board games and board gaming is done in the sci-fi space kind of
Space.
Yeah.
theme. Yeah, and I'm a
So,
I
huge
love that.
film nerd, and my favorite genre is sci-fi as well. So
Sweet.
Mhm.
yeah, it was just natural to kind of go into the sci-fi thing. Yeah.
that's awesome. Go, Rob.
So, Matt, how do you envision Kyperium appealing to players of different ages and skill levels? And does the game offer different difficulty levels or adaptations to accommodate players of various skill level?
True.
Yeah,
Good
that's a good
question.
question. So there's kind of two different worlds in the board gaming. There's the
Mhm.
mass market board
Oh,
gaming. Yeah, there's a picture of me
oh,
with my boys. Um, yeah, so in the board gaming world, there's mass market games, and that's the games that like you folks, if you're not hobbyist board gamers like me, would know about. Probably games like Monopoly and
Mhm.
Risk and maybe Apples to Apples or Cards Against Humanity.
right.
All of these games are mass market games. They're made so that like
Mhm.
you could grab it, sit down, read the rules in 3 minutes, and have a good time.
Figure
Then
it out,
there's like
right.
yeah. Then there's the hobby board game market where it's like it's it's made for people that like live and breathe board gaming, and so our game was designed specifically for the hobby board game market, which
Okay.
is why like
Nice.
selling 400 games is a huge accomplishment, because in the mass market kind of world, selling
Yeah.
400 games is nothing, right?
Right.
So our game,
Mhm.
you're never going to see our game at Target or at Walmart, or any of these like mass appeal locations. You're going to
I don't
see
know. You
them
say never.
in board
I wouldn't
games.
say
Mainstream.
never.
Your
Yeah,
boards
It
can
might
become
happen. I could
mainstream.
see it.
Yeah, I can see it too.
so all that being said, I will say like one of the like mission statements that we had made in the very beginning was to make sure that the rule set was fairly light.
Mhm.
So the rule book and the rule set is not huge. You know,
Yeah.
you read through the rule book, you can learn to play in like 20 minutes.
That's good.
Oh,
um
cool.
Nice.
and
Perfect.
but there's lots of complexity in the cards and the decision making. So
Mhm.
when you
Oh,
look at your hand of cards and you look at the board state and what's happening, there's like a
mhm.
dozen different things you can do in a dozen different ways. The combinations and things are endless. So somebody who
Wow.
plays like no board games at all, or just like mass market like fun games,
Mhm.
at the kitchen table with family, um, it might not appeal to them as much, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast, yeah.
But I
But
like that you
like I
made
said, I
it
will
made
say
it
that
simple.
for
So
sure, but
so an
Yeah.
that
experienced
was
player
one of
could
the big
sit back and go, "You're playing your worker all wrong. You're playing your worker all wrong."
it's cool because and that goes for a lot of these games, is like you and I can sit down and play a game, and your strategy and the way that your brain works is going to play the game in a completely different way
Mm.
than I might. And then like
Exactly.
the next
Yeah.
time around I'm going to play somebody else and they can take it a completely different approach. So it's fun to watch other people play your game and kind of discover combos and different ways that people can play a
Different
thing that you
ways.
made yourself. Yeah,
That's
it's very
amazing.
satisfying.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds rewarding. Very rewarding.
So, and I assume your kids play your game with you.
My kids aren't quite old enough my oldest is 6. And there's lots of reading, like the cards are just full of text.
Okay.
Not full of text, but the cards have text. And so he's not reading quite yet.
Okay.
Maybe in the next, couple of years, but he's definitely very, very interested in board gaming. And
Awesome.
we do play a lot of board games that don't, I specifically seek out games that I can play with him that doesn't have text.
Go ahead, Rob.
Amazing. Yeah, with the initial success that you're seeing, are you already planning expansions or other related game products?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good question.
Question.
we do have a lot of ideas for expansions, and as I said, like one of our main mission statements was to make sure that the rule set was super light, but that there was lots of complexity and strategy in the actual play of the game. So, that being said, we had lots of ideas, right? We're throwing all kinds of things at the wall.
Mm.
And it's like, let's try this thing, let's try that thing. And it's like, oh, we would have to write an extra rule. It's an extra thing for people to remember. So let's just put that aside for now. And then again, that would happen over and over again. So there's a good handful of mechanisms and ideas that were kind of shelved or put to the side, with
Ah,
for the sake of keeping the game fairly simple and quick to get to the table and play. So that being
Yeah.
said, we do have a lot of ideas and thoughts to expand the game. One of them would be to make it multiplayer so that you could play it 3 or 4 players.
Mhm.
yeah.
Playing solo board gaming is a huge thing. You wouldn't think it, and I'm not a solo board gamer myself, but it is a very, very
I
popular thing.
Oh, that's
I
I'd be
have played.
interesting.
interested in solo board gaming. I'd be
Yeah,
interested
I
in it.
would. I would. Yeah.
I fell in love with Zombicide, which is one of those.
Oh yeah,
It falls in the jar that Matt is talking
Cool.
about, and I mean, I've got
absolutely.
pretty much every expansion, and I have absolutely played solo games where it's just like, okay, so now I don't have anyone else in my party screwing this up. Let's do this right.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, there's lots of ideas. We are thinking about expanding and making some variability in the game so that every time you play, it's a slightly different game as well. And then
Nice.
Steve had started a design prior to all of this. a card battling, again, kind of a magic style. Like I have my character, you have yours, and we're trying to whittle our health down in creative ways. So Steve had designed or partially designed a game, that was that style, and then with Kuiperium funding successfully, we thought, um, why don't we reskin that game into a Kuiperium universe game?
Mm.
So we're going to make
Oh,
it into
sweet.
Kuiperium gladiators, like robot gladiators, is going to be
Ah,
the
Oh,
cool.
theme.
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like we didn't really talk
That's
about the
cool.
theme, but the idea is that this like this new really powerful element called Kuiperium was discovered in the Kuiper Belt, and so humanity sent two corporations to the Kuiper Belt to build a space station, mine the Kuiperium, research it, and it's this incredibly powerful element. But now, hundreds of years go by, in the space station, there's like a full civilization living in the Kuiper Belt, and so
Wow.
those people need to
Nice.
be entertained. And so this other game that Steve and I started designing literally in the last, like, I want to say, month, um, is going to
Wow.
be the idea that like these folks are being entertained with these robot gladiator matches in space.
I'm excited to try
Very
it just
Wow.
because,
cool.
I mean, it sounds so interesting and so different than anything I've
Yeah,
ever
you
played before.
created your own like multiverse, like a DC Marvel thing. I was like,
You-
this is so cool.
And
This is sweet.
I'm a video game player more than board games, but I like games that have backstories and stories to them.
Me too.
And
Me too.
yeah, I'm excited actually. I'm excited to try it.
My last
Cool.
question actually was kind of similar to Rob's. Were you going to either create a children's game inspired of your sons, or would you let your sons create a game?
Um, I would love to create a game with my sons. That would be super
Yeah.
fun. And he's like, because of obviously daddy's making board games and has made this board game, he like grabs, he grabs paper and pens and dice and all sorts of stuff and like makes these super simple, silly games.
Oh,
But
that's
it's
Mm.
so
definitely like,
cute.
yeah, it's so adorable.
That
In fact,
is.
on Father's Day, he drew like a board game on my Father's Day card. So like,
Oh,
yeah,
so
it's definitely a thing
Oh,
that I think
wow.
will end up being something that I do with my boys. Yeah, for sure.
oh,
Absolutely.
I love that.
Amazing,
I love
dude.
that.
Well, we're definitely
Yeah.
out of time, so I appreciate you joining us. But can you tell everyone where they can find you? Just to let you know, you can find a link to his game in our description. But just any closing words you have as well, Matt.
Yeah, so we're super excited. Like you said, we ordered 1,000 games. We have over 400 pre-sold. So we're really looking forward to the game landing in people's at people's homes and seeing other people enjoy a game that I've created. It's pretty surreal that it's actually happening. But all that being said, you can go to Kuiperium.backerkit.com. So Kuiperium is Kuiperium. Again, Kuiperium.backerkit.com. You can pre-order the game there and be one of the first to play the game when it arrives.
That is so
Nice.
exciting. Well, thank you so
Thank
much for
you, Matt.
joining us, Matt. We appreciate you joining us and telling us all about this wonderful game. And I'm looking forward to trying it out. So
Exciting.
maybe
Yeah.
I'll come to Canada and try it out with you, Rob B.
Well, hey, that would be
Ooh.
awesome.
Let's do it.
You know what? We'll call Matt and we'll see if we can get that multiplayer
Right, we can have
thing
it
going.
right. That'd be awesome. That would be great.
Or have him sit by and just go, "You're playing it all wrong."
You're doing it wrong.
Well, thank you again, Matt. It was great talking to you. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Matt.
thanks so much for having me on. This was a blast, and
Awesome.
thanks for allowing me to promote my little project.
Absolutely. We love it. Thank
Of
you.
course.
Love it.
All right.
Wow.
You know, we've been away for a little while. It's okay if I miss some buttons. It's all right.
Sorry, I was just
Skipped a
bouncing
few.
to it.
No, that was exciting.
Yeah, really good. I'm really excited about that game. When I saw the trailer really did it for me, actually. So,
Right?
Yeah,
yeah.
honestly,
That's it. Like
it was like a movie.
having a friend that works as a video producer who just goes out on a limb and throws something for you like this, and the production value of it is fantastic.
Yeah.
It makes you want to play. It immerses you in this world where you're like you said, it's like a video game trailer. It's like, okay, well, I want to start playing these cards.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Super engaging.
All right.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, let's get in these hot topics. Johnny, you've got this Philly grad who was denied her diploma.
Uh-oh. I guess this is some shenanigans early, guys. So recently, actually, a high school student from the Philadelphia High School for Girls was denied her diploma on stage. And it was warned ahead of time by the principal for the attendees of the graduation to refrain from any cheering and clapping during the ceremony. The 17-year-old student, forgive me if I mispronounce her name, is Abdur Rahman. She was seen doing a dance that caused a little laughter from the crowd, to which the principal responded by actually refusing her certificate. Afterwards, the student did mention on camera if they thought that I shouldn't do the Griddy, which is the dance, across the stage, nobody should have been able to wave or blow kisses or do period signs because I feel like that's the same thing. I feel like that's unfair. Abdur was not the only student that was denied her diploma due to the dancing. However, many people did feel that was unfair because graduations are normally associated with celebration and is a milestone moment for students despite the rules set by the school. So guys,
So how many people
Yeah.
didn't get their diploma?
I-
You said there was a few.
yes. So I've seen 3 videos so far.
All
I've seen 3 people not.
doing the Griddy?
She was doing Abdur was doing the Griddy, and other people were doing other little dances.
Other
So
dances.
dancing in general, yeah. It wasn't just specifically this dance.
Okay.
But I wanted to turn it to you guys and ask to what extent should schools prioritize discipline over celebration and self-expression?
So Rob, go ahead. I'll let you.
All right. So in the preamble, you nailed it.
Rob's face.
The notice to the students was that your friends and family can't cheer for you, and the student was aware of this. She flat out said that she was. So I can appreciate
Yeah.
this because I have attended grad ceremonies, and cheering can really delay the proceedings. And these events are painful enough to sit through as it is, especially when you have a lot of people to get through. So there is a need for structure. So, despite knowing this, the student engaged in her little dance and she knew it would get people hyped, and it worked, and they cheered. So it's an unintended consequence, but she was getting people hyped. The principal's reaction withholding the diploma is a petty move, and I will give you that 100%. But her job isn't to be liked by the students. It's to run a school and its functions efficiently. And I do believe that it's arrogant of the student to claim that, this is her moment. No, it's not. It's a shared moment with hundreds of other people. And if everyone starts cheering for all the grads, it falls off the rails and it becomes a long, painful
Are you
ordeal.
kidding me?
The principal needs to play the hard ass in this situation. She does. Someone has to, and it sucks that it has to be her.
Rob, she barely danced across the stage. She just walked. I mean, it was just a
Shuffled.
bouncing.
Yeah.
Right, she shuffled. That's a better, yes, much more accurate. Across the stage, and come on, the laughing and the jeers were not that serious. I mean, you could barely hear anything. I mean,
You
It was
encourage
short. It was
one
like a
and you
piece.
encourage the next. You encourage the next. It devolves quickly. And you sat through graduations, Neil. I sat through my high school graduation, and that was painful. And it was for me.
it
Dude,
could.
Right. I mean, they can be annoying, but
They
go ahead,
are.
No, Rob,
I'll
no,
say
Gianni,
my-
I'm listening. Get your
I mean, because I feel as if I do understand that it can be annoying. It is true. I was graduating during a time where you could cheer, so yeah, it's hella annoying. But the thing is, I don't think she should have did that on stage. Like I feel like I don't know. I don't think that set the tone for other students because even 2 other people did it after her. So I don't think it really taught a lesson, and I just feel like it kind of just embarrassed her, and that's not the point of the graduation. So I don't know. It missed the point. It missed the mark for me.
We've got an online comment that I have to share right now.
Go ahead.
From Paul Hatzies. No dancing. Call Kevin Bacon.
I think it's ridiculous. She should have been allowed to do her little shuffle dance. It was so minor. I don't know. I think, and from what I understand, I think the school board said that this was, this wasn't something that they allow. It's not normal to be have their diplomas withheld for some dancing or celebrating like that. So it's not part of their rules. So it's not like she had a rule that she wasn't following. She did what she was appropriately told to do. Like, sure, okay, this principal has her rules, but I like what Jacqueline Robinson said, since we're calling out comments. She says it's unfortunate because rules are rules. I think a teeny bit of flexibility could have been used here, though.
Come on now.
I agree.
On graduation day.
Right. I mean, man, and it didn't look good either, because you got a Muslim woman and this white woman, no offense, holding back this Muslim woman.
Come on, Neo.
Dude,
he changed
if you look across that bullshit,
it wasn't a good look.
Crowd.
It was not a good look. All I'm saying is it wasn't a good look. That's all I'm saying.
It
wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look. I might be.
He is looking for it.
But it wasn't a good look. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I think that I don't think it should have been as viral as it has, because I do think it was, like Rob said, kind of petty. And as a student, she's 17 though. You guys can remember when you were 17 and any little thing was like, that's unfair, and it's just like this rebellious nature that we have at that age. So I could get why she's so passionate about her stealing her moment. But you're right, Rob. It's like hundreds of students.
Rob is not right. Rob is not right. Forget rules.
He's right. It's petty.
It's the last day. It's the last day you have to go to school for the rest of your. Well, you have to go to high school for the rest of your life. You're excited. It's a celebration. Come on, this is ridiculous.
Passion.
It's a celebration.
They don't owe you a celebration. They owe you a piece of paper. That's what the school owes.
That's all she had to do was give the piece of paper. I can celebrate. I just want my piece of paper.
She can mail you that piece of paper.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right. Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans?
Lies, shenanigans.
Honestly,
shenanigans.
To me, yeah, I was gonna say that. Shenanigans.
Whatever. You guys have lost your mind, man. She should have been able to do her little dance.
I think so too, but I also don't think it should have went viral. This is not virality to me.
Whatever.
Is that a word?
Virality.
I'm a victim. No, you're not.
I think she was victimized.
She should have got her diploma, though. She should have got it.
She got it on stage. Thank you. I told you it's not a good look. This picture is not a good look. This you see on the screen is not a good look. I'm sorry. All right.
It's funny that he said that.
All right. Let's get to our next topic. Those are all the comments online. So, Robbie, climate change and Canada's wildfire. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. Well, folks, there are currently more than 400 forest fires tearing through many parts.
Sorry about that.
No problem. So yeah, there are currently more than 400 forest fires tearing their way through parts of British Columbia and Alberta in Canada's west, as well as Nova Scotia, Quebec, and parts of Ontario in the east. Around 1/3 of these fires are burning in the eastern part of the country, and this is a region that isn't used to dealing with large fires. So this season, there have been over 2,600 forest fires that have consumed in the neighborhood of 5 million hectares, an area roughly the size of Costa Rica. So this makes 2023, this makes 2023 the worst year for fire damage since 1995, when about 7.5 million hectares burned. But the season's still young, right? Yeah. So we can appreciate the loss in terms of forest, wildlife loss of habitat, displacement. But this year, the smoke was of grave concern for humans because it was triggering and aggravating respiratory problems in several residents. So my question is,
down here, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. Right. So my question that I'm posing is, how can we address the increasing threat of wildfires and mitigate their impact on communities and the environment? Because let's be honest, with climate change, as we get warmer, this is the reality moving forward. We need to think about how we're going to manage this.
Yeah.
Gianni, go ahead.
Apparently it's just gonna get worse. So honestly, just like doing my own little research, I don't know everything, but with further research, I know that like wildfire management itself is just complicated and involves a bunch of different factors. So to truly address the issue would be to kind of have a team effort, first of all. And it's between the companies, such as like, I think like oil production companies, government, and the community, obviously, so that we can be prepared in case of this. All of that is needed. But the very first thing, in my opinion,
And forest
is
management.
to stop. Oh, really? I was gonna say stop the production that's increasing the cause of this dry, hot ass air that's sparking these wildfires.
You're saying climate change.
Yeah,
So
actual
addressing climate change.
itself. Yeah, exactly. And what's causing the climate change is, from what I've researched, is these companies, a lot of these oil companies, and people like Justin Trudeau.
Emissions.
Trudeau.
Yep.
Trudeau, sorry. Justin Trudeau and Biden, like they're backing companies that are like they're basically fronting the bill or accepting companies that are doing this and putting more emissions out into the air, which is causing this issue. So it's just like a circle effect that's happening. Instead of them stopping the production, sure, we have to actually have more management, like Neil was about to say, land management and forest fire management. But what if it keeps happening because the production is continuing? So I would say stop production first.
I mean, at this point,
it's very difficult to stop the production, though, Johnny. We have to recognize the role that climate change is exacerbating in these conditions, but
at this point we're fucked. Let's be real.
Oh, it's over.
No, it's
Okay,
not that it's
so there's
over.
nothing we
At
can
this
do.
point, it's not that this. Okay, there's nothing we can do. But if we're looking at climate change and the effects of climate change will continue for many years to come, regardless of what we do.
Right.
So
Yes.
these wildfires are going to be happening for decades. These hurricanes are going to be happening for decades. For us to affect significant change will take decades, maybe a full millennia. You know, it may take a long time for us to actually affect the change in the other direction. So yes, we do need to do something about climate change, but at this point, we have to figure out what we're going to do about, like, how are we going to deal with the increase in hurricanes? How are we going to deal with the increase in wildfires, you know? And I mean, I like what you're saying, though, Gianni, in terms of forest fire management. We have to be more proactive. We have to recognize that we have these issues. Climate change is here. You know, it's like when you have earthquakes, right? You have a place that has common earthquakes. What do? You build buildings that can survive earthquakes. So now we have to start building buildings that can survive hurricanes. We have to make sure that we start doing the things to prevent, you know, forest fires. Or we need to get Smokey the Bear out in Canada. I don't know, but I'm just saying. I mean, there's a lot we can do, but there's a lot that needs to be done as well.
So now, Neo, you mentioned something about the air quality because of the smoke. Now, have you or Johnny experienced any of that firsthand?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty awful. Like there was one day I think we had code purple, which is the worst air quality you can have. It's code purple here. And it was just like, it was like you were in a smoked room. Like you were in a room with smoke. Like you walk outside and immediately it just, you're breathing in smoke.
You're breathing in the haze.
Yeah,
the haze
you think that
there.
when it smelled just like somebody was, you know, doing a cookout right in front of you. Like there was a cookout and you were somebody was grilling and the smoke's blowing in your face, and that's what it smelled like. It felt like. And you know, you kept losing your breath. My wife has asthma, so she gets asthma for, you know, with particles in the air, and she was struggling a lot that day. I know in New York it was really bad.
Very. Yes.
That, you know, the day I'm referring to was code purple here. It was even worse up there. So Yeah, it was it was pretty awful. I'm not gonna lie. All right,
Yeah.
couple of comments
No,
online. Oh, good. Go ahead, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Let's get to the comments for sure.
Yeah, so Jacqueline Robbins said it took something like Canadian wildfires to remind me that we're all in this together. We could smell the smoke here in D.C., even with our windows closed, and shit, that's true. Our eyes stung with the air quality was horrendous, especially for those with respiratory problems. We also have to remember that climate change contributes to the increase in migration of people from one country to another. We see this playing out in Europe and the U.S. Go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, no, it's I liked the comments that you were making. And to circle back to Johnny's, like as far as transitioning to cleaner and renewable energy sources, that's something that we are doing. We're implementing climate change adaptation strategies. Like Neo said, like this is going to take decades to undo where the damage that we've done up until this point. And what I really liked was when you were talking about the different agencies, because we do need interdisciplinary collaboration. We need to encourage collaboration between
Yeah.
scientists, policymakers, land managers, and communities to develop comprehensive strategies for wildfire protection and mitigation. When we combine expertise from all of these fields, we can get a more innovative approach and solutions that can be formulated to tackle the complex challenges associated with these wildfires.
Yeah.
Exactly. Actually, something done. It's a team effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally agree. We got a lot of work to do, though. All right.
Yeah, and just to put it into context, my friends, Sudbury Fire 17 started early June. I believe it was June 9th. And that one is still burning out of control as of 4 days ago. And it is, it's 96 kilometers west of Sudbury. So
I just want to cry. That's so sad. Imagine all of the animals.
Yeah, that's something that that Jose mentioned was all the animals had to be evacuated as well. I mean, not only ones that not the ones that need to be evacuated, but ones had to have been killed as well. So
of course, the wild animals and the trees. Trees have feelings. What plants?
Lumber prices have skyrocketed, have gone up again.
Oh, I'm sure that's probably worldwide.
Well, it's going to have an impact for sure to whoever we import to. Yeah,
that's probably worldwide. It's probably going to have a significant effect. We have wildfires in the U.S. every year as well, usually across California and
Cali.
But
and they're bad. They were bad recently.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the case though, because again, we're in this climate that we're in. So. Yeah. All right. Is this truth, lies, shenanigans?
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
This is unfortunately the truth.
This is very true. Very true.
All right. We're running low on time, so we gotta make this a very quick topic. All right. This next one.
Oh gosh.
Right. Why you say, oh gosh?
I forgot what it was for a second.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
All right, let's get into it. Archaeologists in Spain recently uncovered a surprising member of history, a stone penis from medieval times. I mean, talk about a blast from the past. The 6-inch stone penis was found in the ruins of the Tower of Mira in Araya de Vigo, a place well known for its large population and significant income. What income? Okay, all right. Now, scientists say there is hard evidence that it may have been used as a sharpening tool and intentionally shaped into a penis, but some say that that notion is ridiculous. So my question is,
it's painful.
What do you think it was used for? Let's start with Rob B.
That's funny.
All right. So they discovered a 6-inch stone penis tool. Let that sink in. 6 inches of stone penis. I mean, talk about a hard find. Those archaeologists must have been like, well, I guess we're digging up some boner history today.
Some boner history.
So, in my opinion, it could have been an accountability stick. Maybe there was a problem with men of the day, And I'm thinking, hark, fair maiden, my trousers doth conceal 6 inches of sensual pleasure. At which point the fair maiden could whip out her measuring rock. We shall behold, good sir.
So you think it was using measure?
It could have been a measuring
That's
stick.
funny.
And we got to give props to medieval folks because, I mean, they didn't need Tinder when you could just whip out this 6-inch stone penis. It's like they were playing a modified version of rock, paper, scissors called rock, paper, hard as a rock.
All right, how do you
That's
think it was
funny.
used, Gianni?
That is.
And I just have one more. Can you imagine the conversation that the archaeologists had that day? Hey, Rob, guess what we found today? What's that, Johnny? A 6-inch stone penis. Oh, that's great, Johnny. Did you also find the medieval stone condoms? For that extra protection?
Stone cot. Oh God, that would be horrible.
That is so silly.
That's bad, Rob.
Oh,
I know that
know.
this was a funny find. But no, I mean a sword sharpening a sword. That's interesting. That's interesting. But I can barely think of any uses for a stone penis. I can think about 5 good uses for a fleshly penis. For a fleshy.
Only
fleshy
5
penis,
good
but a-
uses? Wait a minute. Dang.
But a stone penis makes it hard.
You need to be a little more creative. You can only figure out 5.
I really like off the top of my head 5.
Off the
But
top
no,
of your head.
honestly, think about it. The uses for this stone penis, you can play party games with it. Like ancient party games, like the horseshoe, throwing the horseshoe thing, and then that's one.
Okay.
You can teach an anatomy class,
All
demonstrate,
right. Yeah, you can do that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
and then you can also meditate with it. So many different things that you can
You
do.
gonna meditate with the penis, or you can just hold it and.
Things.
She's not saying where the penis is, my friend.
Oh, got you.
However you reach nirvana is up to you.
Fair enough.
Oh, that's good. That's funny, Rob.
Yeah,
But no, that is. I saw that the article said the discovery was significant because it showed the symbolism between violence, weapons, and masculinity. So today we call it misogyny,
Mhm.
but back in the day, this was just their power piece thing. Penis.
Mess with
Our
your
penis.
friends. If you're messing with your friends, you could drop it next to them. Hey, you drop something. What? Ah!
I was wondering this could be the lost member of Venus de Milo. Maybe they found
What?
it. They just
Is that the penis to Milo? Is that what
Penis
that
de
is?
Milo.
That's funny.
Speaking of Venus, I've heard men are from Venus and women are from Mars, right? I mean, I got that backwards. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. But it looks like Venus might have been packing, I've been packing something for, anyway. I guess it's what they meant by the Dark Ages, dark, lonely nights with the stone penis, right? Oh, right. You mentioned rock, paper, scissors. Whole new twist, but it looks like the scissors might have beat stone this time because it fell off.
Yeah. The scissors beat the stone. That's a good one.
that was so stone lost.
That's trimmed. That's definitely trimmed.
All right.
The stone lost.
All right. That was fun, guys. All right. That was
Oh
fun.
my
Truth,
God.
lies, shenanigans. That was some fun shenanigans, guys.
Some straight up shenanigans.
Y'all got me laughing. That was some good stuff. That was good stuff.
That
All
was
right.
good.
All right. What's up next is our game show. Let's knock it out. All right. It's our game show. Of course, this past Monday was Juneteenth here in the U.S. We celebrated the holiday. And for Juneteenth, we are going to do a quiz. Juneteenth trivia. Quiz is from American Battlefield Trust. We'll go around the horn, starting with Gianni. And whoever ends up with the most right answers gets the final thought for the show. I will say Rob tends to do pretty well on Black History quizzes. So Gianni,
Don't know how.
we need to represent.
Mhm.
All right, Gianni. What does Juneteenth commemorate? Is it June 19th, 1965? Is it June 19th, 1863? Is it June 19th, 1864? Or June 19th, 1861?
Ooh, the year always gets me. Okay, this is fun. Let's think. Um, I think it's 1864. I don't know why.
You think it's 1864? That would
Yes.
be. Oh, I'm struggling to click on it because I'm clicking on the wrong thing. That would be
I lied.
incorrect.
Answer.
Incorrect. That would be
That was
June 19th, 1865. Juneteenth marks the official end of the Civil War as it occurred on June 19th, 1865, more than 2 months after Lee's surrender at Appomattox.
Okay.
All right. Rob B., where did Union General Gordon Granger announce the orders that officially emancipated those remaining in the confines of slavery? Was that Galveston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, or Austin, Texas?
Oh, I know this.
I think it's Galveston.
Galveston, Texas. Let's take a look. That is correct.
Yeah.
Texas became the stronghold of the Confederate influence in the latter years of the Civil War as the slaveholding population refugeed their slaves' property by migrating to Texas. Consequently, more than 50,000 enslaved individuals were relocated to Texas, effectively prolonging slavery in a region far from the Civil War's bloodshed. All right, I'm up next. All right, with which amendment did the Union General Gordon Granger's orders rely on to ensure the emancipation of the enslaved peoples? 13th, 14th, 15th, or 12th Amendment? Pretty sure it was the 13th Amendment. I'm going to be so mad if I get this wrong. That's correct.
Oh, you got it right. Good.
I was gonna be like, okay, I don't know why I was second guessing myself for a second. The 13th Amendment declares neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction, which of course led to our current justice system that ultimately enslaved Black people anyway. All right.
Anyway. Right.
That's a whole different discussion. All right. So we all got it right. All right. Gianni Storm, what was the name of the document announced by Union General Gordon Granger upon his arrival to Texas? Was that General Order Number 3, Emancipation Proclamation, Executive Order from the President, or General Order Number 1?
I think it was the Emancipation Proclamation.
The Emancipation Proclamation. That is incorrect, Gianni. We're going to have to work on your Black history.
I never cease to embarrass myself. Like, it's just like every time I get a little bit higher.
General Order Number 3 was issued by Major General Gordon Granger, declared the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the executive order that of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. Okay. That was a lot to read. All right, Robbie. It is between you and I. As Gianni blew it.
Come on, Neo.
Oh, yeah.
I know what you're really saying. I know what you're saying.
All right, true or false? Newly
love
freed
you,
people
Rob.
were encouraged to purchase homes and seek jobs elsewhere. True or false? Newly freed people were encouraged to purchase homes and seek jobs elsewhere.
50-50 chance. What could it be? True. True.
That is wrong. Yay.
What?
Okay.
Newly freed people were encouraged to purchase homes.
Part of General Order Number 3 encouraged newly freed people to remain with their past owners.
Oh wow, that's horrible.
All right. Here, this is the last one. If I can get it. By what name is the period after Juneteenth known? The Scatter, Era of Freedom, the Great Migration, or the Great Awakening?
I know.
You know it? I'm going to say the Great Awakening. Oh, that is so wrong.
Ooh.
So wrong.
Okay, I don't know it. I thought I knew it.
Apparently,
Wrong answer.
it's called the scatter. In the following
never
weeks
known that.
after General Order Number 3's announcement, formerly enslaved people left Texas in great numbers to find family members and make their way in postbellum United States. All right, Robbie. This
Interesting.
is the last question that we're going to do. And we're going to both
All right,
answer it
fam.
and see who gets the right answer.
Ooh.
All right.
Sudden death. Sudden death.
Emancipation Park was bought specifically to celebrate Juneteenth. Where is it located? Houston, Texas, Montgomery, Alabama, Dallas, Texas, or Birmingham, Alabama. Emancipation Park was bought specifically to celebrate Juneteenth. Where is it located?
Birmingham.
I was thinking Birmingham.
Pick something else.
We're going with Dallas, Texas. All right, because I'm not sure. So we'll go with Birmingham and see. That
I'm
is
going with
wrong.
Houston. You know what? You got the state, Neo. I'll give it to you.
No,
You
I'm
picked
giving it to
Dallas.
you.
I had Alabama.
You got it. You win. Robbie wins again. Yay!
I've got it.
You won again. See? Robbie must have been somebody in his
Listen,
past life.
I should have got the last one. I should have got the last two that I missed. So I'm embarrassed myself. All right.
You're like,
I
just let
see
him
what
have
you're
it.
doing.
All right.
I see what you're doing.
All right. Let's get some shout outs in. All right, let's start with Gianni.
It was Father's Day, so shout out to all of the fathers out there. Shout out to my brother. He's a great father. And also, side note, shout out to the Titanic lost aboard sea members. Shout out to them. Hope they find you.
Shout him out. I don't know.
Had to-
We should have used
had
that
to
as a
put it in there.
discussion. We should have talked about that. But anyway, Robbie.
I know.
Yeah. For those of you who aren't aware, today is the summer solstice, but in Canada, it is also National Indigenous Peoples Day. The day recognizes and celebrates the cultures and achievements of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people of Canada. So I encourage everyone to learn more about their North American roots and our shared history with Indigenous peoples who lived here long before us.
Love that one.
Beginning.
All right, and
First.
I want to send some love and positive vibes to our own Lizzie. She's on the road to recovery. We're eagerly awaiting her to come back and bring that infectious energy of hers back to the mix. Lizzie, we miss you, and we're rooting for you. Keep getting better. We can't wait to have you back with us.
Miss you, Lizzie.
All right, that is officially all the time we have for today's show. It was a fantastic show. I'd like to thank you for joining us. We hope you learned something, gained a new perspective, or simply had some laughs. A reminder, we are now recording live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and our official podcast episodes will be available on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Pods Network, PODZ, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just search for Truth, Lies, Shenanigans. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Gianni. Thank you, Matt. Can't wait to play your game. But most
Yes,
importantly,
Matt.
we need to thank you for listening to our shenanigans each and every week. Have a great week, everyone.